Hello. Anyway, I thought it was maybe quite cool to make a bit of video on how exactly you can improve the speed of your website. So, what exactly is the story with regard to tools.pingdom.com? In general, it's one of the best sites in the world you can use to basically check the speed. Now, I'm just using Frankfurt in Germany as an example. You could use other parts, you could use America, you could use somewhere else. It doesn't really matter too much what exactly you're going to be doing in regards to your area. It's whatever really one that works for you is the best way. If you're based in America, then it makes more sense to pick your American state, your American area, but in general, it will give you a good idea whether you're in Germany, London, or somewhere else. So, anyway, let's get into this. So, this is a good way we can test it. We just put in our copy in a URL like that, we put whatever area we want. If it doesn't work, sometimes you say, it's too slow, whatever, just swap area and that should fix it for you. So, according to that, we got a performance grade of 79. We got a page size of 78.4 kilobytes. So, it's quite a small page. The load time is 1.24 seconds and it's given 38 requests. So, how is that? Is that good? Is that bad? Well, it's pretty good. And one thing you may not realize as well, one of the things that's actually given actually that a bit less speed than it should is this bit. Having actually that cookie message on your site, it does actually slow your site down a lot. So be aware if you really can't get, say, for argument's sake, 3 seconds, in some cases it's down to basically your code there. It's just unfortunately something under the laws at the moment regarding things, cookies, all kind of stuff. We can also as well go down it and learn different things quite quickly. So we might decide we need to have a header thing done. We might decide we need to compress with gzip. It basically just compresses your content to make it more sorry, not your content, your coding to basically make it smaller. So we might decide it's worthwhile. I wouldn't really think you need to do that for a blogger in most cases, but in other things, it may be of value for you to do that. It's like everything, it depends what you're going to do. So we can look at that and say most of our speed is being governed by our script. The script is basically what really your style is, that kind of stuff, in simple terms. Basically, a script that allows bloggers to function, that kind of stuff. So then we can see our next one down is image at 15.23. So what's that going to mean? Well, if we're getting slow speeds, we can compress it. We can compress it in many ways. We can simply use Photoshop, we can use another app, we can use automated things. There's many different ways you can do it. You can also, in some cases, get faster speeds by changing the image style. In some cases, it can work for you. If you're finding your CSS is getting really, really big, really, really slowing down your site, you can, in some cases, re-script your site, or recode your site down to basically mean your CSS will take up less space. In case of here, we don't really have to worry. At 4.43%, it's not a big deal. Hypertext markup language at 235, it's basically nothing, so we don't have to worry about that. So we can say, as a whole, our hypertext markup language is fine, our CSS is fine, our images, we can maybe say could do a wee bit of work. Our script itself, we could maybe argue it could do some work on a percentage scale, but it's still, as a whole, quite small. It's not very big, is it? That is the main things you should be doing in regards to looking at your thing. If your site's ever slow, this is a key area to find it. In most cases, with regarding to sites, images itself will often be a big thing. So if you keep saying, I can't get my speed better, you will sometimes either have to simply remove your images and then completely compress them so basically are smaller, or they take up less memory, or you can use different things like a CDS, like Bunny CDF, which basically what happens is your images themselves will basically go onto another server. So it basically means the load time for your images are not affecting your site. You basically pay for an access to another server to host the images for you. That's what you can do in some cases. But for Blogger, you shouldn't really generally have that issue in most cases. Blogger itself is one of these things which is designed for speed. So if you say, I really can't get a site faster, and I'm doing everything possible. If that's the case and you're in WordPress, it can make sense in some cases to swap to Blogger. But like everything, if you're going to be doing it, you'll have to do interlinking, or you have to move all your links over. It can be kind of complicated. But if you have the option between, WordPress, Blogger, and other things, you say, I don't have to do much, or I don't know how to do a hypertext markup language, then Blogger itself is probably a good option for you in a lot of cases. Blogger itself does load incredibly fast in most cases, to be fair. I'm insisting it's software. I was just wondering if it's swappable over to image. It doesn't matter. But basically, using this thing here, will basically mean you'll be able to find out the data quickly for your site. Now you might think, but how accurate is this? It is pretty accurate. If you get results which seem a bit funny, just start testing again. You will sometimes get different results. So if it seems too good or too bad, just quick start test again or move your area if the need comes. And that's the principle of simple things you can do in order to improve the load time of your site. Relying on tools.pingdom is a really good site. It's probably the best one you can use in regards to check out your images. There is many other ones you can use. You might think, this one's not as good. If that's the case, you prefer something else, like always, do what works for you. But as a whole, tools.pingdom is basically one of the best sites in the world to basically tell you what's going on regarding your requests, all that kind of stuff. Because, for example, another thing before I end this video, if your request is really high, let's just say it's kind of high, I like say, just for instance, 200. If your request is 200, then that tells us as a whole we need to get rid of some things unless our site itself is loading very fast. If our site is already loading very fast and you're like, this is perfect, it's really, really good, can't do improvement, then keep it. But in general, you want to try and make your requests less. Your request itself can go up in some cases, particularly if you're using WordPress, because basically plugins themselves basically take up some of your requests and all that kind of stuff. So in some cases, it can make sense to cut down on your plugins if you're using WordPress or another, if you like, style of that site, such as Drupal, Joomla, or something else. It depends, of course, what you're doing. But if you're getting requests too many and you're seeing your speed's really slow, then work on it. Speed itself is a key ranking factor in Google, so if you can, try and make your site as fast as possible. An important thing to remember before I end this video, which is key, it's a much better idea to have an ugly site which loads really fast than have the world's most beautiful site which takes like say 20 seconds to load and then no one's going to go to it. Speed itself is a real legit ranking factor in Google. So if your site is too slow, you have to cut down on it. Cutting down, I can understand, can get annoying. You've made a really nice site or someone else has, but speed itself is king. This is why, in general, as a good example for WordPress, which you might find interesting, if you say, I really want to use WordPress, this is why I love WordPress. Again, if that's the case, then fair enough. Use a theme called Frank Masters. Frank Masters itself is one of the fastest themes I've ever seen. Now, it doesn't look pretty, it doesn't look cool, it doesn't look interesting. But if what you really want is speed, then Frank Masters is one of the best. It's basically perfectly designed from a speed perspective. You're not going to win any awards regarding the display, the style of it, but you can easily make it look a bit better yourself, adding the images, that kind of stuff, doing a bit of customization if you want to. But from a speed perspective, Frank Masters is a really good theme. I'll leave a link to it in case you ever want to use Frank Masters. Anyways, all video, thanks, and I hope you can hear me better in this video. See ya!